If you're a parent, you're probably thinking about setting your kids up for financial success. But what if the way we've all been taught to do that is, well, just wrong? We're talking about moving beyond just saving for their future and into something way more powerful, actually building their financial mindset from the ground up.
You know, for generations, the piggy bank has been the go-to symbol for teaching kids about money. But let's be honest, is that model kind of outdated? What if the real lesson isn't just about saving up some pennies, but about understanding the actual engine that builds wealth? Yeah, we're going to challenge some of that old school wisdom and give you a totally new way to look at what a true financial legacy even means.
All right, let's just start with this. It's a bold statement. Real wealth management for parents isn't about money. Whoa, hold on. That sounds completely backward, right? I mean, how can you manage wealth if it's not about the money itself? It feels like a riddle, but trust me, the answer is so surprisingly simple, and it's going to change everything. And there it is. That's the other half of the puzzle. The most powerful financial lessons you will ever teach your kids, they aren't spoken. They're just observed. It's not about the 529 plan you open for them. It's about the financial habits you live out day in and day out. Because you better believe it, they are always watching.
Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of this whole approach. We really have to get the fundamental difference between two things we mix up all the time: allowance and assets. And this isn't just playing with words, you guys. This is the core lesson. It's about shifting their brain from a spending mindset to a building mindset.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got allowance. In its most basic form, it teaches a really simple loop. You get money, you spend money. It's a lesson in consumption. But assets? Oh, assets tell a completely different story. They teach about growth, about patience, about the idea of your money working for you. They teach legacy.
And here's the thing. The most crucial point to get is that this has nothing to do with how big your bank account is. You do not have to be a millionaire to teach this. Your sweet spot is just creating a system, any system, that's visible and easy to understand. It's about managing whatever you have in a way your kids can actually see and feel and eventually copy in their own lives.
So, you might be wondering, how does this learning process actually work? Well, it's way less like a classroom lecture and a lot more like learning a new language just by being dropped in the country. Your kids absorb the financial culture of your home long before they even know how to count to 10.
So think about it. When a kid sees the family business in action, or they understand the super simple system of we always put this much into savings every month, or they overhear you talking about long-term investments, they are inheriting something so much more valuable than a future check.
This is the real prize right here. They inherit a framework for how the world actually works. They get a mindset that sees money not as this scary thing or something to be spent immediately, but as a tool to build a stable, intentional life. And that is an inheritance that can never, ever be lost or spent.
So what does that inherited thinking actually look like day to day? Well, it looks like this. They learn that money is something you plan for. It's not a source of constant chaos and emergencies. They learn that money is a topic we can talk about openly, without any shame, instead of something hidden away. And maybe most importantly, they learn that money, when you manage it well, is a foundation for stability, not a constant source of stress. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the practical side of all this, but the emotional impact is just as big, if not bigger. This isn't just about churning out financially savvy adults. It's about raising secure, confident kids.
You know, a home where money is handled with intention, where it's not the cause of constant, anxious fights, that kind of environment sends this incredibly powerful, unspoken message to a child. It's a message that just kind of seeps into their bones and really shapes how they see the world.
The very first part of that message is just so simple and so essential. It tells them you're safe. That feeling of a stable financial floor beneath them provides this deep, deep sense of security, which frees them up to just, be kids.
And the second part of that message looks ahead. It tells them the future is handled. Now, this doesn't mean everything's perfect, but it means there's a plan. And that lifts this incredible weight of unspoken anxiety right off a kid's shoulders, letting them look at their own future with optimism instead of fear.
And that feeling of safety, that deep down security, it doesn't just stay at home. It gets internalized. It literally transforms into their own personal confidence. A kid who feels secure is just more willing to try things, to fail, to explore, and to build their own life on that strong foundation that you gave them.
So after going through all of this, the mindset, the modeling, the huge emotional impact, it really all boils down to one clear ultimate goal.
What is the one thing we should be aiming for as we try to manage all this for our kids?
And there you have it. The goal isn't just to leave them a fortune. The goal is to raise kids who understand how to build one for themselves. Because that understanding, that mindset, that confidence, that deep feeling of safety, that is the only inheritance that truly lasts a lifetime. That's not just wealth management. That's legacy.